Fine by noon. Good afternoon. Welcome to session 6. Session 6, which is called How to Teach My Everyday English. This is the series of teacher training Help Your Students Rise and Shine. We are meeting again. My name is Jan Witek, and I'm delighted to have you here today. We will explore how using everyday English can support your students' language development. We will also discover methods that encourage daily conversations in the classroom. Additionally, we'll learn using these techniques across different subjects to create a communicative classroom environment. So let's get started and make learning both practical and enjoyable for our students. Firstly, we'll understand how everyday English supports language development. Then we will explore various methods that help engage students in daily natural conversations. We'll also look at ways to incorporate everyday English across different subjects, making learning more meaningful. And finally, we'll focus on practical strategies to create a classroom environment where communication flourishes. So these are the objectives for today. Here's an overview of what we will cover today in detail. We will begin with an introduction to everyday English, setting the foundation for our session. Next, we will move into communicating with feelings, an important skill for building empathy in the classroom. Then we will explore functional phrases in action, focusing on the practical language students need every day. We'll also practice situational activities, providing hands-on ways to bring language into real-world context. And finally, we will wrap up with key takeaways to ensure you feel confident implementing these strategies into your classroom. So all the sessions are aimed to be practical with hints and tips immediately incorporated into your language environment. So let's start. Let's begin by talking about what everyday English really means. And it's not just about learning vocabulary or grammar rules. It's about empowering students to use the language in meaningful ways. Everyday English gives students the confidence to express themselves in situations that matter to them. It also helps them feel that the language is part of the daily life, rather than just something from a textbook. So by making English practical and relevant, I think we're helping our students grow into confident communicators who are ready for the real world. First, let me introduce you to the concept of everyday English. I think this powerful, impactful photo represents everyday English outcomes because everyday English empowers students not just to learn the language, but to use it in real life. By teaching simple phrases, we can help them feel more comfortable and also more confident. It is about making English practical, fun, and relevant to students' lives. This also helps them interact not only in class, but in real-world situations as well. So why should we teach everyday English? Everyday phrases like, for example, greetings and polite requests help children interact confidently. Introducing practical language makes students more comfortable in their real-life situations. The impact of this extends beyond the classroom, making students more socially active. Regularly using these phrases will establish comfort with the language. So let's start by focusing on greetings, such as hello, how are you, or what's your name? In this activity, I encourage you to have your students practice in pairs. This kind of interaction helps them build confidence while learning to greet each other naturally. Simple practice like this is foundational for comfortable interactions. Greetings are truly the first steps in creating a welcoming classroom environment, And every time you greet your students, you can greet them, of course, in English. Hello, how are you today? How are you feeling? And so on and so forth. Moreover, you can use simple commands such as sit down, stand up, open your book on a daily basis to help students become familiar with essential classroom language. Look how many times we repeat these expressions, so let them be in English. Try role-playing a typical classroom setting to practice these commands. This also ensures students understand the instructions given during class. It also helps them become familiar with basic language structures. Incorporating classroom commands helps establish routine and discipline smoothly. So anytime students listen to these expressions, they start to recognize them much easier and they feel much more confident in English. Next, focus on learning vocabulary for common classroom objects, such as book, pencil, desk. This is an important way for students to connect with the learning environment. You could use flashcards to help students match these objects with the names. Activities like this not only help in learning vocabulary, but also foster a sense of ownership. Building familiarity with the surroundings aids in creating a comfortable learning space. Moving on, let's pay particular attention to practicing colors and numbers, such as red, blue, 5, 10. Use colored objects in the classroom and have students count and describe them. This helps students learn basic descriptive language. You can ask in the classroom, find me something red, find me something blue. Colors and numbers are essential building blocks for early learners. This also encourages students to observe the surroundings more carefully, so mindfulness is also equipped. Let's have the students role play using classroom language such as, can I have a milkshake, please? Can I have? Encourages students to rotate roles so they all get a chance to be both the teacher and the student. Role swapping is wonderful role play activity. Students feel like a teacher for a while. Role playing like this gives them practical experience using English in familiar situations. It also builds confidence and prepares them for real-world scenarios. This activity will be a fun way for your class to reinforce classroom language. Can I have? Now, let's incorporate describing into our everyday English classroom activities. Here's a creative exercise. Ask your students to choose a favorite object, real or imaginary, and describe it without naming it. For example, it's round, it's red, and you can play with it. That's a fantastic topic in Rise and Shine, Toys Around Us, and you can exploit this section with pictures, with some objects students also can imagine. And while playing, the rest of the class or a partner has to guess the object based on the description. So one of the students describes and the others guess. This activity encourages creativity while reinforcing language. Combining creativity with speaking makes learning more engaging, and it's all about engaging during our class. It also helps students remember language better, and using mystery adds, something that students need to discover, adds a bit of excitement and engagement, making language practice more enjoyable. So remember, describing is a fantastic tool. Next, let's focus on the importance of communicating feelings. It's crucial that students learn to express how they feel and understand others' emotions. Encouraging open communication about feelings helps foster a more supportive and caring classroom atmosphere. It helps with building everyday English language. So now let's focus on gratitude. Gratitude. Teach students phrases like, thank you, mom, thanks, dad, or this is for you. Have them create a thank you card for someone special in the family. This can be just a simple heart. This simple exercise helps them learn how to express appreciation. Practicing gratitude is an important part of social interaction. It also strengthens family and peer relationships. Let's move on to discussing feelings. Encourage students to practice questions like, how are you feeling? Along with responses such as, I feel happy, I feel sad. Create a feeling chart and ask students to place their names next to an emotion. This helps them develop empathy and better understand others. Asking about feelings is crucial for building social skills. It makes the classroom a caring and understanding space, which is very important for young learners and not only. You can also ask students to bring in family photos and describe them such as, this is my sister, she's 5 years old. This activity encourages them to share personal experiences, which fosters connection. Sharing their own stories helps build confidence and also trust. It makes language personal and relatable. Family topics always bring enthusiasm and encourage engagement, and students feel much more open to speak about their family relationships, about their significant others. Next, let's talk about pets, another favorite topic of kids. Ask your students to describe a pet such as, this is my cat, it's black. They can bring in a photo or a drawing of a pet. Talking about pets is a relatable topic that engages students emotionally. It also makes speaking activities more interesting. Pets help children feel more comfortable sharing. So that's a wonderful topic. Nature around us in Rise and Shine, you can exploit it. For instance, in this example, like pets we love. Perfect for everyday English. Also encourage students to practice inviting friends using phrases like, come to my party, wear a big hat. This will inspire creativity as they make invitations for a dress-up party. Practicing invitations helps build confidence in using social language. Role-playing these scenarios makes speaking practice fun. It also teaches how to be polite and inclusive. There's also another section in Rise and Shine dedicated to clothes. So there's this activity given, but you can also use some creative idea to develop this task. Furthermore, have your students draw a family tree, labeling members such as grandmother or uncle, aunt, cousin. Then ask them to present the family tree to the class. This helps reinforce family vocabulary in a visual way. Visual aids make it easier for students to understand complex relationships. It also helps to personalize language learning. Now let's have the students role-play a visit using phrases like, hello, welcome to my house, this is my mom. Ask them to take turns being the visitor and the host. This teaches politeness and also social etiquette. Practicing real-life situations like this helps students feel more prepared. It also makes them confident when interacting with others outside of school. So role plays are fantastic tools for everyday English. Now let's discuss functional phrases and how they can be used effectively in the classroom. These are the everyday questions and requests that help students navigate their surroundings. By using functional phrases in real situations, students learn to interact naturally and develop useful language skills that they can carry into everyday life. So teach your students to ask everyday questions such as, can I borrow a pencil? Set up a classroom store where they can practice asking to borrow items. This encourages practical communication and also helps them express their needs. Asking questions is key for real-life interactions. Look how many times in life we ask questions. It builds both language skills and builds confidence. What's more, let's create scenarios where students practice asking, can I play with you? This helps them learn to invite others or ask to join in games. Encouraging inclusion is crucial for building friendships. Polite requests are an essential part of social development. This will help make playing together a comfortable experience, builds relationships, and also improves social skills and collaboration, which is so important for students. What's crucial, encourage your students to practice asking for help, such as, can you help me with this task, please? Or which is directed at a teacher. Can you help me with this task, please? Set up role-play scenarios where they ask for assistance. This encourages them to be proactive when they need support. Asking for help is a valuable skill for both learning and teamwork. It also builds trust among classmates. Let's have a lunchtime chat where students ask each other, what do you have for lunch? For example, I have rice and vegetables. This activity helps students learn food-related vocabulary. This activity also helps students learn about some social interaction. Casual conversations about everyday activities build familiarity. It makes language relevant to their daily lives. So when there's a topic about food, it's a fantastic activity to exploit, asking about what do you have for lunch. Also, teach your students polite phrases like, may I have some water, please? Pass around an item, it may be something different, and have each student ask politely for it. This activity emphasizes the importance of politeness in interactions. Learning polite expressions helps children form positive social connections. It also makes interactions pleasant. May I have something? How about having students dress up paper dolls and describe their outfits? For example, this is a yellow hat. I like it. This teaches students to use descriptive adjectives and express preferences. Visual activities like this make vocabulary memorable. Describing clothes also encourages creativity, and it helps them communicate about everyday things. So another activity related to clothes. Let's practice having students give compliments, such as, you did a great job, or I like your drawing. Ask students to pair up and take turns giving each other compliments. Positive reinforcement helps build a supportive classroom environment. Compliments also enhance social connections. It also boosts students' confidence. So this is like very important to practice compliments, which later on in life pays off very often. Let's now focus on practicing with situational activities. These activities are all about placing students in real-life scenarios where they can use the language they've learned. The goal is to make English practical and enjoyable, encouraging students to feel comfortable using it beyond the classroom. Situational activities provide a safe space for trial and error, which builds both confidence and fluency. So, have your students describe what they see in a park, like, I can see a tree, I can see a bench. Use pictures to take a virtual walk together if you can't walk outside. This activity builds vocabulary related to outdoor settings. Practicing with familiar scenes makes language relatable. It also encourages them to observe their surroundings. Here's a fun game. Have your students draw an outfit for a specific occasion and describe it to the class. The classmates will guess the occasion based on the description. This also makes practicing vocabulary fun and creative, and it encourages students to think about different contexts. It also reinforces descriptive language. Let's play a memory game now, using flashcards. Remove an item and ask, what was it? This improves memory recall and reinforces vocabulary. Games like this make learning dynamic. It also encourages students to pay attention. Memory games are great for language retention. Ask students to draw and describe their favorite food, such as, this is a pizza, it has cheese and tomatoes. They will create their own menu and present it to the class. combining art with language makes learning more engaging. It also helps students remember vocabulary better. Food-related vocabulary is always fun to learn. And now, wrap up and key takeaways. So, to wrap up, we've learned today that everyday English helps students in real life, but it goes without saying. It is essential for students to express themselves confidently in real-life scenarios. Using practical activities such as role-playing, Q&A sessions, and also vocabulary games helps build foundational communication skills. Encouraging peer interactions boosts students' confidence and allows them to practice in authentic settings. Cross-curricular activities involving everyday English, like discussing topics in maths or science, make learning more connected and relevant. Bear in mind, effective question and answer exchanges they improve engagement and communication skills in students. Role-playing common scenarios like introducing oneself or asking for help builds real-life language application. Integrating everyday English across all subjects, such as during story time or art activities, creates a well-rounded language environment. Make use also of simple games such as Guess Who or Simon Says or Bingo to make vocabulary practice fun and dynamic. Moreover, everyday English lays the foundation for better social interactions and classroom engagement. Teaching simple phrases like, "Can I help you? May I have this or that?" helps students participate in group activities confidently. Engaging students in using everyday English leads to better classroom cooperation and improved interpersonal relationships. So, to wrap up, firstly, practicing simple phrases like greetings helps students feel comfortable using English. Activities like daily greetings or introductions give students the chance to speak up and gain confidence. Secondly, adding movement while practicing phrases like actions for sit down, stand up, open your book keeps students actively involved. Movement makes learning more engaging and enjoyable. Thirdly, pairing students for practice helps them connect and use everyday English in real interactions. Role-play scenarios such as at the park or in the classroom, which make learning interactive and relatable. Moreover, encourage students to express their feelings using simple phrases like "I am happy," "I am sad." Teaching them to express emotions in English helps build their emotional intelligence. Last but not least, practicing phrases that are used daily makes English practical and immediately useful. It also helps students see the real-life value of what they're learning, making the experience more meaningful. Here are some easy-to-follow yet impactful next steps. So, practice everyday English daily. Include real-life scenarios in role plays. And also encourage students to use English beyond the classroom. So let's make language learning a fun and practical experience for you and for your students. And now, as usual, let's put what we've learned to the quiz time. Let's see how well you remember the strategies we've discussed. This will help solidify the ideas and ensure you're ready to apply them in your classrooms. Let's begin. 5 seconds, and you can answer in the chat. So, question number 1. What is the main benefit of teaching everyday English in the classroom? Enhances students' writing skills, helps students communicate in daily situations, teaches advanced grammar concepts, improves listening to English songs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is helps students communicate in daily situations. Question number 2. Which activity is effective in boosting students' confidence in using English? Reading a story silently, drawing pictures without describing them, role-playing real-life scenarios, or writing essays. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is definitely C, role-playing real-life scenarios. I'm a fan of role-plays, so I know it improves students' confidence and language skills. Question number 3. Why is movement important while teaching everyday English? It keeps students actively involved. It helps improve students' writing speed. It makes students tired. It distracts from the learning process. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is definitely A. It keeps students actively involved. It's all about involvement and engagement. Question number 4. What is a good example of practicing everyday English through situational activities? Counting in silence, talking about park activities, solving puzzles without talking, singing songs only in the native language. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is B. Talking about park activities, that was one of the examples I gave you. And question number 5. What can teachers do to encourage peer interaction in the classroom? Assign solo tasks only, make students read books silently, encourage group and pair conversations, give lectures with no participation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is C. Encourage group and pair conversation. That's very, very important. So I hope you've had all of the answers correct. Now, one more announcement. If you haven't registered yet, if we have some teachers who didn't participate in previous training sessions, so please scan this QR code and you can access Pearson's free resources dedicated to you. You will be updated with news about our initiatives, about our training sessions, and you will connect to the community of educators. So scan this QR code, please, and register to our website to be updated daily. Thank you, my dear teachers, for being with me today. I hope this session has inspired you with new ways to use everyday English in your classroom and also beyond to engage and motivate your students. See you on Tuesday next week, the 26th, also 4 p.m. during the following session, How to Teach Review and Project. If you have any questions, please write them in a chat. I will have a look at the chat. Thank you as usual. All right. So I hope to see you next week during the final session, session number 7. Stay connected, keep learning, and together we can continue to create the best learning environment for your students. Have a nice afternoon. Bye, Artai. Thank you very much for today. Bye.